Are you the kind of person who would respectfully look away if you accidentally walked into the forest at midnight and saw a half-transformed, fully naked werewolf woman glitching like a cursed loading screen? Or are you the problem? No, seriously, answer carefully, because today's main character chose option B, be a problem, and now his life is legally, spiritually, and romantically ruined. Welcome to a world where personal space does not exist, the moon is a certified homewrecker, and ancient laws were clearly written by people who woke up and chose violence. Quick warning before we begin. If you enjoy chaotic romance, bad decisions, and two emotionally unstable people being forced into proximity, subscribe. Because if you don't, the moon will personally assign you one overprotective, slightly unhinged soulmate with anger issues, on territory problems, and the communication skills of a brick. You think I'm joking? The moon is not. Also, if you're the type who likes your stories a little wilder, a little less censored, and a lot more, did they really just say that? Check out the Patreon in the channel's description. That's where the characters lose what little self-control they had left. And I lose what little restraint I pretend to have on YouTube. You've been warned. Now sit down, fix your posture, and prepare your second-hand embarrassment. Lady Troublette Make It Worse the Half-Baked Werewolf had a plan, a simple plan, a dignified plan. Go into the forest, transform gracefully, return like a majestic creature of the night. What she actually did was glitch mid-transformation like her soul hit poor connection. 1 second, human. Next second, wolf. And then suddenly, half-wolf, fully naked, emotionally unavailable. She stared at her own hands. Oh, fantastic, I'm buffering. And that's when fate, who clearly woke up bored and chose chaos, sent in a witness. Enter Duke Bitey McGrawlface, tall, brooding, built like a mistake you'd make twice, and unfortunately, looking directly at her, all of her, every single inch of her. Pause. Silence. The kind of silence where your ancestors collectively facepalm. Then, turn around, she screamed. He didn't blink, didn't breathe, didn't even flinch. Instead, this man, this absolute liability, said, I physically cannot. This is now a legal situation. She blinked. A what? And like every bad decision in history, this is where ancient laws show up uninvited. Because apparently, according to the deeply unserious traditions of the Gossiping Fur Committee, if a man sees a naked she-wolf under moonlight, he has two options: marry her or kill her. That's it. No debate, no discussion, no, let's unpack this, just vibes and consequences. Duke Bitey processed this like a man watching his future collapse in real time, then nodded slowly. Wow, zero middle ground. Love that for me. Lady Troublette pointed at him like she was about to sue reality. You're not marrying me. He looked at her, still not turning around, still seeing everything. Respectfully, I've already seen too much. We're past negotiations. She grabbed a branch and threw it at his head. Missed. This is your fault. I was walking, he said calmly. You were buffering. Stop saying that. You froze mid-transformation like bad Wi-Fi. I'm calling it what it is. She gasped. I will end you. That's also an option, he said. But according to the law, that just speeds up the marriage process. She paused. That doesn't even make sense. Neither does this situation, and yet here we are. And above them, the moon, glowing, watching, fully invested like it paid for front-row seats, because make no mistake, this was not an accident. This was matchmaking, toxic, chaotic, legally binding matchmaking, and somewhere in the universe, something whispered, oh, this is about to be messy. If you've made it this far without losing your sanity, congratulations, you're officially part of the problem. Hit like, subscribe before the moon assigns you a dramatic love life, and get ready, because from here, it gets worse. And by worse, I mean legally married. Have you ever made one bad decision, and then an entire audience showed up to watch you suffer? No? Great, because Lady Troublette was about to experience live embarrassment in 4K. The bushes rustled, the trees shook, and like rats hearing free food. The entire clan appeared. Not slowly, not respectfully. No. They arrived like it was the season finale of a reality show called Who Made the Worst Life Choice? Gasps, screams, pointing, zero decorum, absolutely no home training. She's cursed. He's unstable. This is bad for the economy. One old man in the back. I knew this would affect trade routes. Lady Troublette. Why is the economy involved? Anytime something dramatic happens, someone yells, "This will negatively impact the economy." No one explains how. Everyone agrees. Duke Bitey stood there, still calm, still shirtless, but still unfortunately handsome, still not looking away. At this point, looking away would have been character development, and we don't do that here. Troublette, meanwhile, was trying to cover herself with leaves, dignity, and rage. Mostly rage. "Stop looking at me." "I physically can't unsee it," he replied. "We're past that stage." The gossiping fur committee formed a circle around them like they were about to summon a demon. Honestly, same energy. Grandpa Rulebook, the unnecessarily dramatic, stepped forward, clutching a scroll like it personally offended him. By ancient law, written by people who clearly had too much time, this situation is now legally binding. No, it is not. It is. Who wrote that law? Random villager. Probably a man. Entire crowd. Yeah, that tracks. Grandpa Rulebook cleared his throat like he was about to ruin 2 lives, which, to be fair, he was. If a male witnesses a she-wolf unclothed under moonlight. Pause. Dramatic wind, unnecessary suspense. He must either marry her or kill her. Dead silence. Then, "Wow, the options are terrible," Duke Bitey said. Troublette spun toward him. "You're choosing neither." "I'd love that," he said. "Unfortunately, the law has the personality of a villain." The crowd leaned in like gossip addicts. Someone brought snacks. No one denied it. Chad Thunderthighs whispered loudly, "I give it 5 minutes before they kiss." "I will end you next," Troublette screamed. Duke Bitey sighed, looked at the sky, looked at the moon. The moon looked back like, "Don't embarrass me. Do it." He closed his eyes like a man accepting defeat. And then, "Fine." The entire forest gasped like oxygen had been cancelled. "I'll marry her." "You will do what?" Troublette asked in pure anger and shock. He raised a finger. "But if she snores, I'm taking it back." He keeps trying to add terms and conditions to a law that clearly has none. Troublette lunged at him. "You don't get to set conditions on my life." "I'm trying to make this survivable for both of us," he said calmly. Grandpa Rulebook clapped his hands, like this was a wedding he personally sponsored. "Excellent. Let's proceed with the bonding." "Let's not," Troublette screamed again. Before she could protest further, Duke Bitey stepped closer. Too close. Illegal levels of close. She froze. Not buffering this time, just panicking. "Don't you dare!" He leaned in and bit her neck. Clean. Sharp. Final. Silence. Absolute silence. Even the economy shut up. Troublette's brain restarted. "Did you just bite me?" He pulled back, completely calm. "Legally, yes." She stared at him, touched her neck, looked at the crowd, looked back at him. "I cannot believe this is my life." The bond flared. Magic snapped into place. The moon glowed brighter like it just hit confirm purchase. And just like that, they were married. No ceremony, no consent, no refunds. Chad Thunderthighs wiped a tear. Beautiful. Toxic, but beautiful. Troublette pointed at Duke Bitey like she was seconds away from committing a crime. I hate you, he nodded. Understandable. Pause. Then, wife. She screamed. The forest echoed. Somewhere in the distance the universe laughed. And above them all, the moon, still glowing, still watching, still absolutely thriving. The crowd eventually dispersed. Not quietly, not respectfully. No. People lingered like unpaid extras, whispering, staring, pointing like they just witnessed history or a train wreck. Same thing. But eventually, mercifully, the forest emptied. And now, they were alone. One small hut, one door, one bed, one very loud, very illegal silence, and approximately zero emotional stability between them. She stood near the wall, arms crossed, still fuming, still very aware of the bond humming under her skin, like it had something to prove. He stood on the opposite side, equally tense, like if he moved too fast, reality might file another complaint. No one spoke. No one breathed properly. Even the air felt uncomfortable. I will not touch you. It came out firm. Final. Like a man drawing a line in sand that was already on fire. She blinked. Good. Great. Perfect. Fantastic. Amazing. Love that. 5 seconds passed. 5 very long, very loud seconds. And then, something shifted. The air got hotter, not metaphorically, not poetically, suspiciously, aggressively, unnecessarily hot. She shifted her weight, then again, then froze. Why is it warm? He didn't answer immediately, because he felt it too. That slow, creeping heat, like the room had been locked with the sun, or worse. The moon had opinions again. Another second, then another. Then suddenly, they were both sweating like they had just sprinted through lava while being chased by consequences. She pressed a hand to her chest. Okay. No, this is not normal. He exhaled slowly, jaw tight. Agreed. She turned toward him. Big mistake, because now they were looking at each other. Again. And the bond, oh, the bond, woke up. It pulsed. Sharp. Heavy. And annoyingly alive. She took a step back. He took a step back. They both hit opposite walls like synchronized disasters. Then why does it feel like my soul is overheating? He ran a hand through his hair, already regretting every decision that led here. Because the moon is a toxic matchmaker. Silence. Then, the bond pulsed again, stronger this time, like it hurt him, and took that personally. She sucked in a breath. I don't like this. Neither do I. Something is wrong. Everything is wrong. Another pulse, closer this time, not physically, but somehow, closer. They both froze. Because somehow, without moving, they were standing closer than before. Did you move? No. I didn't move either. Pause. They both looked down. Then back up. Then immediately stepped away again like the floor was trying to set them up. The moon is not subtle. The moon does not respect boundaries. The moon ships aggressively. Anytime things escalate, somewhere, unseen, unstoppable, a cosmic voice whispers, "The moon wants drama." And right on cue. The heat spiked again. She grabbed the nearest object, unfortunately a pillow, and held it like it could protect her from whatever this was. This is not happening. He leaned against the wall, staring at the ceiling like he could file a complaint with the sky. It is absolutely happening. Make it stop. I don't control the moon. Well, you married me under it, so this feels like your fault. I married you to avoid murder. You say that like it helped. Another pulse, stronger, sharper, closer. They both inhaled at the same time, then immediately glared at each other like that was somehow the problem. And don't come closer. I'm not coming closer. Then why does it feel like you are? Because the bond is stupid. The bond is very stupid. They paused. Then, reluctantly, we agree on something. Don't get used to it. Silence again, but this time it wasn't empty. It was loud, heavy, waiting. The bed sat in the middle of the room like a threat, an invitation, a terrible idea. They both looked at it, then immediately looked away. We're not sharing that. Absolutely not. Good. Good. Pause. Longer this time. Another pulse. They both looked back at the bed. We might have to share that. We might. The moon, somewhere above, glowing brighter like it just got front row seats again. Oh, this is about to be messy. Peace lasted exactly as long as you'd expect in a story where the moon is actively instigating chaos. Which is to say, not at all. The night split open with a scream, not dramatic, not poetic, just loud, panicked, and immediately followed by the unmistakable sound of things going very, very wrong. Troublette shot upright. What was that? Duke Beatty was already moving. Window, door, weapon. His entire personality shifted in half a second, from reluctant husband to problem with teeth. Stay here. Absolutely not. The door slammed open, cold air rushed in, and behind it, raiders, messy, loud, armed, uninvited. The kind of people who walk into someone else's territory like consequences are optional. One of them grinned. Well, look what we found. He didn't finish that sentence, because Duke Beatty moved. Fast, too fast. The kind of fast that makes you question your life choices just by watching it. And the first raider hit the ground before he even understood what was happening. The second one tried to swing, missed, badly, regretted everything immediately after. Troublette stood frozen for half a second. Then, oh, we're doing violence now. She grabbed the nearest weapon, which was questionably a chair, and joined the chaos like someone who had already had a long day and decided this was just the next problem. Duke Beatty didn't hear anything, didn't see anything, didn't think anything, because he'd already crossed that line. Feral, not the controlled, brooding, slightly irritating man from 5 minutes ago. No, this was something else, something sharp, something dangerous, something that looked at a room full of enemies and thought, not enough. He moved through them like a storm with anger issues, efficient, brutal, final, like no speeches, no hesitation, just consequences. Troublette watched, half impressed, half concerned, fully aware that she had legally married that. One raider lunged at her. Bad decision. She ducked, swung, hit. I am having a worse night than expected. Another came from behind. She turned. Too slow. The blade caught her arm. Not deep, but enough. Enough to make her hiss. Enough to draw blood. And that was the mistake. Duke Beatty felt it. Not saw. Felt. The bond snapped. Hard. Violent. Immediate. Everything stopped. For him. For a split second. For just long enough. He turned. Saw her. Saw the blood. And whatever was left of his self-control. Logged out. The last raider didn't even get a warning. Silence followed. Heavy. Sudden. Absolute. The room stilled. The air shifted. And slowly, very slowly, Duke Beatty turned back when the fight was over. But he wasn't. Troublette stood there, clutching her arm, breathing unevenly, trying very hard to pretend this was fine. It's not that bad. He crossed the room in 2 steps. Too close again. Always too close. His hand caught her wrist. Careful. Too careful for someone who just destroyed a room full of people. His eyes dropped to the cut, then back to her face. Something in his expression shifted. Not anger. Not exactly. Something worse. She swallowed. It's just a scratch. He didn't answer, didn't move, didn't blink. The bond pulsed, harder than before. She felt it. That same heat, that same pull, but sharper now, messier. Why are you looking at me like that? No answer. He leaned in. She should have stopped him. Probably, definitely, absolutely. She didn't. And then, They kissed. Not soft, not slow, not anything resembling normal. It was the kind of kiss that felt like a bad decision while it was happening. The kind that should come with warnings, or at least supervision. She grabbed his shirt like the world had tilted. He pulled her closer, like distance had personally offended him. The bond flared. The moon, somewhere above, absolutely losing its mind. At this point, the moon is no longer subtle. It's basically screaming, "Yes, this, more of this." They broke apart just enough to breathe. Barely. Troublette blinked. Once. Twice. Still processing. That felt illegal. Duke Bitey didn't step back. Didn't even try. Good. A pause. Then, quieter. I don't respect laws anymore. And honestly, at this point, that felt like the least concerning thing happening. The problem wasn't the kiss. No. The problem was everything after the kiss. Silence. The kind of silence where both people are pretending nothing just happened, while actively thinking about it, loudly, aggressively, against their will. Troublette turned away first. Because, obviously. Dignity had already left the building, but she was trying to chase it down. That didn't happen. Bitey nodded immediately. Agreed. Pause. Beat. It definitely happened. Unfortunately, yes. They stood on opposite sides of the room again. Same hut, same tension, now with added emotional confusion trademark. That was a mistake. A terrible mistake. Won't happen again. Never again. 5 seconds passed. They were standing 2 inches apart. Every single time they try to stay apart, they end up dangerously close. Someone breathes like they just ran uphill. Both of them panic like they touched a live wire. Troublette blinked, looked down, looked up. Why are you so close? Bitey frowned. You walked into me. I was standing still. So was I. They both immediately stepped back, too fast, like proximity itself was illegal. This is not normal. This is extremely not normal. Another pause, another breath, another, step forward, 2 inches apart, again. I'm starting to feel attacked. By what? The universe. That's fair. They both turned away. Again. Determined. Focused. Committed to making better choices. I hate you. Same. Beat. Come here. She froze, slowly turned. You just said you hate me. I do. Then why did you say that? I don't know. Honesty. Terrible timing. The bond pulsed again. Not subtle, not gentle, just insistent. Or she pressed her palm against her forehead. This is suspicious. Highly suspicious. We should resist. We are resisting. They were not resisting. Because somehow, without discussion, without agreement, without a single smart decision between them. They were close again. Why are you so close? You walked into me. I did not. You absolutely did. At this point, even the walls felt like they were judging. Troublette pointed at him like she was about to present evidence in court. This is your fault. How is this my fault? You bit me. Legally. Stop saying that like it helps. Another pulse, stronger. They both inhaled, sharp, unsteady. We need a plan. Yes? A serious plan. A very serious plan. Pause. Step 1. Distance. They nodded. Immediately took a step back. Silence. Then, 2 inches apart. Or the plan is not working. The plan has failed. She groaned. I refuse to be controlled by magic. Same. Another pulse. They didn't move this time, didn't step back, didn't even try. Because at this point, trying was embarrassing. Troublette crossed her arms. This is temporary. Obviously. This means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Beat. Why are you looking at me like that? Why are you looking at me like that? Silence. Heavy. Charged. Uncooperative. Then, simultaneously, this is the moon's fault. Somewhere above, glowing like a menace, the moon, once again, the moon wants drama. And unfortunately for them, it was getting exactly what it wanted. There are bad situations. There are terrible situations. And then there is whatever this was. It started small, too small to notice at first. A little warmth, a little restlessness, a little, something is wrong, but I refuse to investigate. Troublette sat still, then shifted, then stood up, then sat down again like her body had forgotten how chairs worked. No. Pause. No. Across the room, Bitey looked up slowly, already tired, already suspicious. What? She pointed at absolutely nothing. Something is happening. Something is always happening. No, this is worse. The bond pulsed, hard, different this time. Not just heat, not just tension, something deeper, something ancient, something that had zero respect for personal boundaries. And then it hit. Full force. Troublette froze, eyes wide, brain offline, soul buffering again, but aggressively. Oh. She turned slowly. Too slowly. Like a horror movie realization just unlocked. I am dying. Bitey blinked. Once. Twice. And took a step back on instinct. Same. She clutched the edge of the table like it personally offended her. No, I mean it. I am actually dying. You look alive. I feel like I'm on fire. That's concerning. Another pulse, stronger, hotter, relentless. She inhaled sharply. Bad idea. Everything got worse. Why is the air spicy? The air is not spicy. It is spicy. Bitey exhaled slowly, looked at the ceiling, then at her, then immediately regretted that, because she looked different. Not injured, not weak, just dangerously alive. He turned away instantly. I don't like this. I hate this. She started pacing, back and forth, like movement might fix whatever this was. It did not. Whenever things spiral beyond reason, this feels like the moon's fault, and right on cue. The heat spiked again. She stopped, and turned toward him, eyes blazing with the kind of energy that makes bad decisions feel like good ideas. Help me. Bitey didn't even hesitate. That sounds like a trap. I am not trapping you. I am suffering. You look like a trap. How do I look like a trap? Dangerous, emotional, on fire. She stared at him, offended. Then immediately lost track of that emotion because another wave hit. She grabbed her head. Okay, this is getting worse. Define worse. I can hear my heartbeat in my spine. That is not a normal sentence. He backed up another step, then another. Creating distance like distance had ever worked. It didn't. Because the bond was thriving, pulling, demanding, absolutely disrespectful. She took a step toward him. Didn't even realize she did it. He noticed. Immediately. Or don't. I'm not doing anything. You're walking toward me. I'm not controlling that. That is deeply concerning. Another step. Closer now. Too close. Always too close. Why are you so close? I didn't mean to be. Stop meaning it. She grabbed his arm. Not gently, not aggressively, just desperately. Fix it. He looked at her hand, then at her face, then immediately looked away like eye contact was now illegal for survival reasons. I don't know how to fix that. You caused this. I caused none of this. You bit me. Legally. Stop saying that. Another pulse. This one nearly knocked the breath out of both of them. Silence, heavy, burning, unavoidable. She exhaled shakily. This is bad. This is very bad. Pause. Then, quieter, more dangerous. If I make a bad decision, it's your fault. He stared at her, on long, hard, fully aware this was the exact moment things went wrong. If you make a bad decision, I'm also making that bad decision. Silence, and somewhere above them, the moon, glowing like it just hit maximum chaos settings. Finally. There comes a point where resisting stops being noble and starts being embarrassing. The heat didn't go away. It didn't calm down. It didn't politely excuse itself and leave. No, it escalated. Troublette was done pacing, done thinking, done pretending she had control over anything in her life. This is stupid. Bitey leaned against the wall like a man seconds away from making history's worst decision. Extremely stupid. Pause. We're still doing it, aren't we? He let out a slow breath, the kind that sounded like surrender. Absolutely. And just like that, dignity left the chat. Or they closed the distance. Not slowly, not carefully, not wisely, just inevitably. The bond snapped tight like it had been waiting its entire existence for this exact moment. The air shifted. The room somehow got even hotter, which felt illegal at this point. Somewhere above, the moon wants drama. And, oh, it got it. The hut? Gone. Not physically, but emotionally, spiritually, destroyed, furniture, traumatized, walls, witnesses, the door, considering leaving. At one point, a chair fell. No one acknowledged it. At another point, something cracked. Still no acknowledgement. Because at this stage, accountability was no longer part of the situation, and then, eventually, inevitably, silence. The kind of silence that comes after chaos, after bad decisions, after consequences that will absolutely need to be unpacked later. Troublette stared at the ceiling, breathing slower now, thinking harder than she wanted to. So, pause. Are we still enemies? Bitey didn't answer immediately, which was suspicious. Then, calm, casual, completely unserious. We're enemies with benefits. She turned her head slowly. That is not a real category. It is now. She stared at him. Long, hard, judging every life choice that led here. I hate you. I know. Beat. That didn't help. It helped a little. She rolled her eyes, then immediately regretted moving because everything reminded her that decisions had been made. This is your fault. You said that before it happened, too. And I was right. He almost smiled. Almost. And right when things were about to get not soft, never soft, oh, but at least quieter, every time they get even slightly serious, the universe interrupts. Right on cue. Bang! The door flew open. Random villager, out of breath, screaming like he just ran from responsibility. The elders are coming. Pause. He looked at them. They looked at him. He looked around the room. The room looked like it had lost a fight. Long silence. I'm gonna come back later. Door slammed. Silence again. Troublette closed her eyes. Romance is dead. Bitey nodded. It never stood a chance. Outside. Voices. Footsteps. Chaos returning like it never left. Inside. 2 people. 1 bond. 0 regrets. And absolutely no idea how they were going to explain any of this. Somewhere above. The moon, glowing like a proud menace. Worth it. Morning came. Not peacefully. Not gently. I know. Morning arrived like it had questions, and 0 patience. The hut still looked like it had survived a natural disaster. Emotionally, structurally questionable. Dignity? Missing. Presumed dead. Troublette stepped outside first. Bad idea, because the entire clan was already there, waiting, watching, judging like it was their full-time job. Whispers immediately started. Not subtle. Never subtle. That's her. That's him. That's the hut. The hut looks stressed. At this point, even inanimate objects are catching strays. Troublette ignored them, or tried to. She walked forward like a woman who absolutely refused to make eye contact with consequences. That's when he appeared. Chad Thunderthighs, professional instigator, full-time menace, part-time terrible decision. What he leaned casually against a tree like he'd been waiting for this exact moment. Which he had. Because of course he had. Morning. Troublette didn't stop walking. No. He fell into step beside her anyway. You look well rested. She stopped. Slowly turned. Looked him dead in the eyes. Say that again and lose your ability to walk. He grinned. Because of course he did. Relax, I'm just being friendly. You've never been friendly a day in your life. That hurts. Good. He leaned closer. Too close. Illegal levels of close. You know, if you ever get tired of him... Big mistake, because somewhere behind them, a very specific presence shifted. Heavy, silent, dangerous. Troublette didn't even have to turn. She felt it. The bond reacted instantly, like it just smelled drama and said, oh, like we're doing this. Chad Thunderthighs kept going, because self-preservation clearly wasn't his strength. You could always upgrade. Silence. Then, footsteps. Slow, measured, threatening in a way that made the air reconsider its life choices. Duke Bitey stepped into view. Calm. Too calm. The dangerous kind of calm that usually comes with consequences. He didn't raise his voice, didn't rush, didn't even look rushed. He just stopped. Looked at Chad. Then said, "Try that again, and I'll uninstall your existence." Silence. The entire clan froze, like someone hit pause on reality. Chad blinked, once, twice, reevaluating every decision he had ever made. Then, very slowly, he raised his hands. Noted. Whenever Bitey threatens someone, entire clan, immediately. Noted. Troublette stood there, processing, watching, trying very hard to maintain composure. Internally, absolute chaos. Why is this attractive? I need help. She turned to Bitey, crossed her arms, refused to acknowledge anything happening in her brain. You're overreacting. He didn't look at her, still focused on Chad, still very much ready to ruin someone's day. I disagree. He was talking. He was breathing incorrectly. Chad took another step back. I can stop breathing if that helps. It would. Troublette sighed. Long. Tired. Like she had accepted that this was now her life. You're both embarrassing? Bitey finally looked at her. Expression unreadable, energy still dangerous. He started it. You threatened to uninstall him. That's a reasonable response. She stared at him. That is not a normal sentence. He shrugged slightly. We're past normal. Pause. She opened her mouth to argue, then stopped. Because, unfortunately, he wasn't wrong. Normal has officially left the story. Around them, the clan slowly resumed movement. Whispers picked up again, drama reloaded, and somewhere above, the moon, glowing like it just watched its favorite show escalate. Oh, this is getting good. At this point, Troublette should have known better. Truly, deeply, spiritually, because every time things seemed chaotic but manageable, life said, "You thought?" It started with a door, a very suspicious door, hidden, half-covered, doing that thing where it absolutely screams, "Do not open me," which, of course, meant she was going to open it. This feels like a bad idea. She pushed it anyway. The door creaked open like it had secrets and trauma. Inside, darkness. Dust. And just enough mystery to guarantee poor decisions. She stepped in. Slowly. Cautiously. Like someone who had learned nothing from previous bad choices. The chamber was old, not abandoned, just forgotten. Shelves lined the walls, weapons, scrolls, artifacts that looked like they had opinions. Why does this feel important? She moved deeper, ran her fingers over a table. Stopped. There, a crest, carved, familiar, too familiar. Her stomach dropped. No. She turned, looked around again, really looked this time. The weapons weren't random. They were ceremonial. The scrolls weren't clutter. They were records. And the crest was royal. Pause. Long. Heavy. Unavoidable. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Footsteps behind her. Of course, because timing in this story had never once been kind. She didn't turn immediately. I didn't need to. You want to explain this? Silence. Then, you opened that. She turned slowly. Very slowly. The kind of slow that says someone is about to regret everything. You have a secret room. It's not secret. It's behind a hidden door. It's discreet. She pointed at the crest like it personally offended her. Why is there a royal crest in your discreet room? He didn't answer immediately, which was already the wrong move. Bitey. Pause. Why is there a royal crest? He exhaled. Slow. Resigned. Like a man who just realized the lie had expired. It's mine. Silence. She blinked. Once. Twice. No. Yes. No. Yes. Pause. You're a king? He tilted his head slightly, like he was considering better branding. I prefer emotionally complicated legend. She stared at him. Long. Hard. Like she was trying to delete him from existence using eye contact alone. Your royalty. Yes. You didn't think that was important information? It didn't come up. You married me. Under legal pressure. She threw her hands in the air. Do you have money? Pause. No. She pointed at the door. Then sit down. He blinked. That felt unnecessary. So is this entire situation. She started pacing. Again. Because pacing was now her primary coping mechanism. Let me get this straight. She pointed at him. You're not just a problem. Correct. You're a royal problem. Also correct. You're hiding in the woods. Strategically. You have no money. Temporarily. She stopped. Looked at him. Dead serious. You are the worst king I have ever heard of. He nodded once. But you have heard of me. Silence. She closed her eyes. Took a deep breath. Opened them again. I regret everything. That's fair. Pause. Does this make me queen? He hesitated, which was already suspicious. Technically. Her eyes narrowed. Why did you hesitate? Because technically doesn't mean safely. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. Every important reveal somehow makes things worse. She looked around the room again. The weapons, the history, the proof, then back at him. You really weren't going to tell me. He met her gaze, finally serious. I was trying to keep you out of it. She blinked, thrown off for half a second. You married me. Again, legally. Stop saying that. Silence. Then, she pointed at him one last time. You're a king. Yes. With no money. Yes. Living in a forest. Strategically. Pause. Word, this is embarrassing. He almost smiled. Somewhere above, the moon, glowing like it just uncovered a plot twist it already knew about. Oh, this is getting messy. At this point, the situation was no longer unstable. It had evolved. It was now strategically unhinged. Troublette stood in the middle of the hut like a woman who had just unlocked a new personality trait. And that trait was, oh, I can make this worse. Because here's the thing. She now knew two critical facts. He was a king. He was already mentally hanging on by a thread, which meant, I have power here. Across the room, Bitey was pretending to read something, upside down. Are you reading that scroll or fighting for your life? I'm reading. It's upside down. Pause. He flipped it. Sir, I was testing it. You're scared of me. I am cautious. You're sweating. It's warm. It's night. Silence. They are never emotionally stable at the same time. She took a step closer. Then another. He didn't move, which was mistake number one. Why are you walking like that? Like what? Like you have a plan. I do have a plan. Pause. That's worse. She stopped right in front of him. Too close. Again. Because apparently personal space had been legally abolished. Every attempt at distance ends in proximity and panic. You said something earlier. I say a lot of things. This one was interesting. He narrowed his eyes. Suspicious. Correctly. What did I say? She smiled. Slow. Dangerous. The kind of smile that gets kingdoms overthrown. You said you belonged to me. Immediate regret. Visible. Art violent. That was situational. That sounded permanent. It was not permanent. It felt permanent. It was not. She stepped closer. Again. Now it was ridiculous. Say it again. Silence. No. Say it. I will not. King. Pause. Long. Heavy. Loaded. He exhaled like a man who saw his downfall in real time. You are abusing your knowledge. Say it. This is manipulation. Say it. He looked away, then back at her, then briefly at the ceiling like the moon might intervene. It would not. The moon supports chaos. I belong to you. Silence. She blinked once, like she was processing victory. Then, oh, that's powerful. He immediately stepped back. Too late. Damage done. Soul compromised. I should not have said that out loud. Too late. She crossed her arms, nodding to herself like she just signed a contract with fate. It's canon now. Stop making things canon. I don't make the rules. You are literally making the rules. Every serious moment becomes a joke. Every joke becomes legally binding. He ran a hand through his hair, visibly spiraling. This is exactly why I didn't tell you I was a king. Weak argument. You're weaponizing information. I'm optimizing opportunities. That's worse somehow. Pause. Then she leaned in slightly, voice softer now, but somehow more dangerous. You don't actually hate it. He froze. That's not the point. That's not a denial. It's implied denial. Weak. Silence. Tension. Thick. Ridiculous. Unavoidable. The moon, fully invested. Oh, this is spicy. They were too close again. Of course they were. He looked at her. And really looked this time. You're becoming a problem. She smiled, soft, satisfied. I've always been a problem. Pause. Now I'm just your problem. Silence. Somewhere outside. A villager screamed. A goat made a noise that sounded judgmental. Something exploded for no clear reason. Romance cannot exist without interruption. They didn't even react anymore. Because honestly, this was worse. And neither of them were winning. Which, unfortunately, was exactly why they kept coming back. By dawn, the clan had reached a unanimous conclusion. This woman is a problem. Correction. This woman is the problem. Because in less than 48 hours, Troublette had married the king, legally, unfortunately, rewired his personality, turned a centuries-old alpha into someone who says, I belong to you, out loud. This was not acceptable, and this was historically embarrassing. So naturally, they decided to fix it. The plan? Break the bond? The method? Ancient ritual? Circle of stones? Suspicious chanting? Zero emotional intelligence. Troublette was dragged, politely, but with intent, into the clearing. You're kidding. Duke Beatty stood off to the side, arms crossed, face neutral, soul stressed. This is unnecessary. She's destabilizing the hierarchy. She made you sit down. Pause. That was a suggestion. You sat. Silence. Respect is accidental. Fear is consistent. Troublette looked around at the glowing circle, the symbols, the chanting, the general vibe of, we're about to make a terrible decision. So, just to confirm, she pointed at the circle. And you're trying to magically divorce me. Correct. Without my consent. Also correct. Bold. She stepped into the circle, because apparently survival instincts had left the chat. The chanting started. Low, rhythmic, unnecessarily dramatic. The air shifted. Magic stirred, and then the moon appeared. Not metaphorically, not poetically, aggressively. Oh, absolutely not. The sky brightened like it just got personally offended. Wind howled. The cymbals flared. The ritual tried to proceed. The moon said, "I ship this." And everything broke. Explosion, light, heat, chaos. Someone screamed. It might have been 3 people. The circle shattered. Magic ricocheted like it had no supervision. Half the clan got knocked back. One guy reconsidered his entire belief system mid-air. Duke Bitey moved. Fast. Instinct. Or no hesitation. "Troublette." The light consumed the circle. Silence. Smoke. Dust. Dramatic pause that went on just a little too long. "If she dies, I'm undoing the entire timeline." The smoke cleared. Slowly, a figure stood in the center, unmoving. Then, she coughed. "Okay." Pause. "Rouge." Troublette stepped forward, alive, unburnt, slightly glowing. The entire clan froze. "That's not possible. The ritual should have... She should be... What do you mean she's fine?" She brushed dust off her sleeve like she just walked through mild inconvenience. "I lived, losers." Silence. Absolute silence. Every attempt to fix things makes them worse. Duke Bitey stared at her. Relief hitting first. Then something else. Something dangerously close to admiration. "You're glowing." "I noticed. That's not normal. Neither is your personality, but here we are." Pause. The clan collectively took a step back. Because this? This was no longer a woman. This was a problem endorsed by the moon. The bond, not broken, stronger, much stronger, possibly illegal now. The moon, high above, radiating satisfaction. "That's my girl." And Duke Bitey, still staring at her like he just realized something irreversible. "They tried to take you away." She raised a brow. And failed. Pause. He exhaled slowly. "Good." Which was concerning. Because now, he wasn't just bonded. He was invested. And if there's one thing more dangerous than a chaotic woman, it's a powerful man who has decided, "She's mine, and I'm not sharing." At this point, where things had escalated beyond manageable chaos, they were now firmly in. The plot is actively targeting her. Troublette should have seen it coming. She really should have. Because when the universe starts letting you win, that's not victory. That's foreshadowing. It happened at dusk. Of course it did, because betrayal refuses to occur in good lighting. The clan was tense, too quiet, too organized, which meant something stupid is about to happen. Troublette was mid-argument with Bitey. Naturally. You can't just threaten people with existential deletion. It's effective. It's alarming. Same thing. Before she could continue. Footsteps, familiar ones. She turned and froze. No. Standing at the edge of the clearing. Perfect posture. Perfect timing. Perfect audacity. Her sister. Every problem somehow gets worse. You. Her sister smiled. Calm, pleasant, dangerous. "Hello, Troublette." "No. That's not how greetings work." "Why are you here?" Pause. The sister stepped forward, unbothered. "I came to collect." Silence. Troublette blinked. "Collect what?" The smile widened. "You." And just like that, everything clicked. The clan didn't plan this alone. They had help. From someone who knew her. Someone who understood exactly how to break her. Someone who... "You sold me out." Not a question. A statement. Sharp. Clean. Her sister didn't even flinch. "You were getting too interesting." Silence. The entire clearing held its breath. Because that was a wild thing to say out loud. Troublette stared at her. Processing. Replaying. Reassessing every childhood memory in real time. Then, she nodded. "That's fair." Pause. Everyone blinked. "What?" She shrugged. "I would betray me too." Silence. Her sister tilted her head, slightly thrown. "You're taking this very well." Oh no, I'm furious. You don't look furious. That's because I'm processing. Pause. And when you're done processing? Troublette smiled, and it was not comforting. Then I'm going to make it your problem. Duke Beatty stepped forward. Slow, measured, dangerously quiet. You brought outsiders into my territory. Her sister glanced at him, unimpressed. You lost control of it. Silence. Ah, so she had a death wish. I don't lose control. You let her control you. Pause. The entire clan collectively decided to stop breathing. Because no one says that, no one survives saying that. Troublette turned slightly, side-eyeing Beatty. She's not wrong. You are not helping. I'm being objective. You are being traitorous. Runs in the family. Her sister actually laughed, which was deeply concerning. Then, the atmosphere shifted. Because this was no longer just betrayal, this was strategy. Her sister stepped closer, lowered her voice. They're coming. Pause. Troublette's smile faded. Just slightly. Who? The people who actually want you. Silence. Define want. Alive. That's vague. Temporarily. That's worse. This isn't just family drama anymore. This is a hunt. Duke Beatty's presence sharpened instantly. You led them here. Her sister didn't deny it. Of course I did. Silence. Troublette sighed. Deep, long, tired in a way that suggested she was about to escalate things again. Oh, do you know what? She rolled her shoulders, cracked her neck slightly. This feels personal. It is personal. Good. Pause. She looked at her sister. Really looked at her. I'd hate to destroy you professionally. Silence. The moon, watching like it just tuned into premium drama. Oh, we're fighting now, and somewhere in the distance, something moved, fast, getting closer, because of course it was. The attack didn't wait. It arrived like bad decisions always do. Fast, loud, uninvited. Figures poured into the clearing, armed, organized, very confident for people about to have a terrible day. Troublette took one look and sighed. Of course, she brought backup. Her sister, standing just behind them, smiled like she'd already won. You're outnumbered. Duke Beatty stepped forward. Calm. Cold. Done pretending. I've been outnumbered before. Not like this. He cracked his neck slightly. No, usually worse. And then, chaos. No countdown. No speech. Just movement. Steel met steel. Magic snapped through the air. Someone screamed within the first 5 seconds. Efficiency. Troublette didn't hesitate, which was concerning. She is now an active participant in violence. Okay, we're doing this. She ducked a blade, grabbed someone's arm, used it as leverage, flipped him like she'd trained for this her entire life instead of improvising on instinct and audacity. I'm learning so much about myself today. Across the clearing, Beatty was a problem. Not loud, not dramatic, just lethal. Every movement precise, every strike intentional, until it shifted. Too many. Too fast. Too coordinated. 3 archers. Hidden. Smart. Release. Or impact. 1, 2, 3. Arrows struck. Beatty staggered, for the first time. He dropped to one knee. Silence hit wrong. No. Troublette froze, just for a second, which was a mistake, because the enemy didn't pause. They advanced. End it. Her sister's voice, sharp, certain. Troublette stepped in front of him. You picked a bad day. Her voice wasn't loud, didn't need to be. I just became emotionally attached. And that? That was worse. She moved, fast, unpredictable, unreasonable, pure chaos with intent. But even chaos has limits. They were closing in. Too many. Too close. This was the moment. The one where stories usually break, where the hero loses, where everything stops. A sound. Low. Thunder rolling across the ground. Not natural, organized. Boots. Many of them. Enter. Consequences. But from the tree line, they emerged, armor catching moonlight, formation tight, presence overwhelming, the royal elite, and at their front, a commander who looked at Bitey, then at the arrows, then at the battlefield, and made a decision. Advance, reversal, fast, brutal, absolute. The fight flipped. What was chaos became control. What was losing became finished. Troublette blinked. Oh. Pause. You had backup. Behind her, still breathing, barely, Bitey managed. I may have mentioned I was a king. You think? It didn't last long after that. The attackers, handled, the clan, disarmed, re-educated, several dramatically reconsidering their life choices, and her sister, cornered. Silence stretched between them. You really tried to kill me. Her sister held her gaze. No apology. No regret. And you were in the way. Troublette nodded once. That tracks. Pause. Any last words? Her sister smirked slightly. You've changed. Troublette smiled. I've upgraded. The dust had settled. The laws? Gone. All of them. Every ridiculous, outdated, emotionally constipated rule abolished. The clan stood in stunned silence, because apparently all it took to fix centuries of dysfunction was one chaotic woman, one emotionally compromised king, and a moon that ships aggressively. Bitey was seated, alive, annoyingly, being treated, reluctantly. Troublette stood in front of him, arms crossed, evaluating. You got shot. I noticed. 3 times. It felt excessive. You almost died. Pause. He looked at her. Really looked at her. But I didn't. Silence. And then, finally, I left the palace because it was already broken. Her expression shifted, just slightly. Corrupt council. Laws that protected power, not people. A throne that expected obedience, not change. He exhaled. I needed distance to rebuild it. Pause. And I didn't expect to find you. She blinked. That sounds like a you problem. It is. Silence. Then, he straightened slightly, ignoring pain, ignoring dignity, leaning into poor decisions. Come back with me. Pause. To the palace. Long silence. Troublette tilted her head, studied him. You're asking? Yes. That's new. I am adapting. Badly. Consistently. She stepped closer. Distance is illegal. If I come back? Pause. I make the rules. He didn't hesitate. I'm done. I stress you daily. Already happens. I embarrass you publicly. Inevitable. I will absolutely make your life worse. He almost smiled. I'm counting on it. Silence. Then, she nodded. Okay. They survived. They fought. They fixed things no one else could. And somehow, against all logic, against all odds, against every warning sign in existence, they worked. The moon, watching one last time. Told you. So, dearest listeners, let's review the damage. One chaotic woman walked into a forest and accidentally married a king, broke an entire clan's belief system, survived a ritual cancellation attempt, got betrayed by her own sister, fought off an army, abolished centuries of terrible laws. And somehow, that's not even the craziest part. The craziest part? He stayed. Not because he had to. Not because of the bond. Not because of duty, power, or some dramatic royal obligation, but because at some point between I will uninstall your existence and I belong to you, Duke Bitey made the worst, best decision of his life. Yeah, this one. I'm keeping her. And Troublette? Oh, she absolutely could have left. Let's be honest. She had every reason to. But she didn't. Because somewhere between chaos and catastrophe, between insults and near-death experiences, between this is a bad idea and I lived losers, she found something dangerously rare. Someone who could match her, challenge her, survive her, and, unfortunately for him, love her. This entire relationship is still a bad idea. It's just a bad idea that works. The kingdom rebuilt, stronger, messier, louder. The laws changed, the people adapted. The chaos? Or thriving? And at the center of it all, a king who learned to kneel occasionally, and a queen who refused to behave, ever. Somewhere above, the moon, deeply satisfied. I told you this would hit. And if you're wondering whether they lived happily ever after, please, be serious. They lived chaotically ever after, which, in this case, was exactly the same thing.